Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Bikinis After Babies. Thank you so much for joining us today. As always, I am one of your hosts, Mandy Rashawn, here with your other host, IFBB Bikini Pro, Jillian Hughes.
Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in and welcome back. We have a very exciting episode. This is something you guys have been asking us for, and we are here to deliver. We have a very special guest for you today. If you've already seen our title, you know who we're talking about. And if you've been following the Fit Model Division, you will definitely recognize her as she has taken this exciting division by storm. She has been referred to as the prototype and has already claimed 3 Fit Model overall titles this season. She's a mama of 3, as well as a surrogate mom to a 3-year-old girl, a military wife, and a prep and lifestyle coach. She has been competing for 5 years with experience in figure and bikini, and we are so lucky to have snagged some of her time this week as she prepares to make a run for her Fit Model Pro card at Junior USA's in just a few weeks. We couldn't be more excited to introduce this incredible woman to our audience. Welcome to Bikinis After Babies, Shayla Hunt.
Yay!
Thank you
I'm
Yay!
so
so
much for
excited
joining
to be here.
us.
Girl, this is
Yeah.
like, I am so excited for this. Our audience has been asking us to bring on
Mhm.
a fit model mama. And so this was like a jackpot. I met you in February when we had that little seminar. And since then, you have just like completely taken over the fit model division. So I'm really excited to learn all the things. But I would like to kind of start with how you began your fitness journey and how you got started in competing.
Yeah, so my journey into fitness was kind of a traumatic one. Um, I was going through a breakup actually, and my ex was a big bodybuilder, and I kind of wanted to, stick it to him in a way. I mean, so I ended up started going to the gym religiously, and then got really into it, and I was hoping, he would be like, dang it, what did I miss out on? But who knows what he's up to nowadays. But I'm so thankful for him because we wouldn't be here right now if I didn't discover my love for the gym and fitness. So,
Awesome.
but I started competing about 5 years ago, and I dabbled in bikini and figure. Actually, I had absolutely no business doing figure. Um,
You looked pretty
but
good. I did pull you up. I did some research. You even took first, so
I
you
did,
you
but
had the
you
muscle.
know,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, my heart was always in it for bikini. You spend so much time trying to build the bikini body. And actually at the posing seminar that I met you at, Jillian, I was posing bikini. I
You
didn't
were.
even do the fit model
Yeah.
posing. Because in my head I was like, I'm bikini, I'm bikini, I'm bikini, I'm doing this. And
Yeah.
then I had like a sit down talk with my coaches, and so I'm with Fit Body Fusion, and Jamie and Thais. Thais is my coach, and Jamie was sitting there, and they were having like this team meeting about whether I was bikini or fit model, and it ended up being like a whole argument between all the Fit Body Fusion coaches. Like they were like, "No, she's fit model. No, she's bikini," and I ended up was like, at first, I just didn't know if I wanted. At first, I thought this sounds really terrible, but and I don't mean this like this. I thought going down to fit model was downgrading.
Yeah.
And it took me a hot minute to get that out of my head. Like, it's not a downgrade. I need to work with my body, I need to work with its genetics
Mhm.
and my lifestyle. Being a mom of 3 girls and a military spouse, like, I don't have the time to train for hours a day out a day, 2 hours in a day, doing cardio, the protocols that are required for me to get extremely lean for bikini. So I just went with it, and now we're fit model, and I couldn't be more excited because I'm being I don't even know how to like say this, but like being projected into fit model like this and getting in on it early
Mhm.
has paid off tenfold.
Yeah.
So I'm just so grateful, and I'm so excited to see like what the future holds.
Yeah, it's such an exciting division. Like everybody's eyes are on it, and every time there's an overall winner, everyone's sort of discussing because there's been such a mixed type of physique. So what I think is
Yes.
interesting, like when you were, starting to like lead the pack and everyone was like, this is Fit Model, like it is still athletic. These women still train, they still have muscle.
Yes.
So it's so great that that's what is starting this division off, because certainly like when bikini started, and I can remember because I was one of the first bikini competitors, it wasn't even as muscular as Fit Model is right now. I mean, it was soft. It was, people would say, "Do you even need to tan? Do you even train?" Like, and because we did not really look as muscular as even Fit Model looks. So, I defend the division all the time because I understand that these are not women that are just training easier. Like, it's still a ton of work to get there.
Mhm.
So,
I'm not gonna lie, since transferring into Fit Model and being at the forefront of it so far, there's been a lot of controversy
Hmm.
surrounding not only my physique, but Fit Model in general. Just being people being like, okay, this is Fit Model. I like her look. She has muscle. She's toned. She has the conditioning. But then you like it's like straying a fine line of soft or doesn't really not doesn't have like the muscle density that would be required for bikini. I don't know. It's I'm getting a lot of not necessarily hate, but like a lot of just like, I don't know if like Fit Model's like the wild, wild west right now with what they're choosing is like what somebody said. And I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it actually kind of is right now. So I'm really excited to see what they end up picking at nationals as the
Hmm.
mhm.
look that's winning and see, if my look is exactly what they're needing. But if you compare Ashley Coltwalter 2015 to my look currently, I really do think that it's extremely comparable.
Mhm.
Um, but that's just my
And
opinion.
I think that's so true though, because when they announced the division, and Jillian can attest to this, there's always a huge amount of controversy around it. Just like when Bikini came out, what is '08
Mhm.
or '09, I think, when
Yeah.
Bikini came out, so many people hated it. They're like, this is terrible, like didn't like it. There's so much hate around it, and now look how much it's like evolved. And then it's like with Fit Model, I feel like the judges are also human, so the judges are figuring it out, and then you have certain girls that are showing up, and it'd be like amateur Fit Model, and then you have girls showing up like you that are like pro Fit Model, and they're going to award
Yeah.
you the winner, and then people are going to say like, oh, they're too muscular. It's like, no, they're just ready here, they're like already ready for a pro elite level, and these girls just
Yes,
aren't. And I feel like people have a hard time understanding that because it's such a new division. So
exactly. And that
Mhm.
I got that at my last show, my judges' feedback. Every single time I go to get feedback, the first show was Tarek, and he's an Olympia judge, and
mm,
he was literally like, "Don't change a thing. Like you're the look." That and that's the show I got labeled the prototype.
Yeah.
But at my last show in South Carolina, the judges, I was trying to get feedback, and he was like, I don't know what to tell you. You looked like you were going to eat the other girls for breakfast." And I was like, "What?" He was like, "I mean, yeah."
Well, yeah, I just
But
don't think a
if
lot of people know like where they fit, which is like kind of like true for any competitor. Like I started in figure and fitness, like, look at me now. There's just no way I would be a figure competitor, but you're trying it out, right? And you don't really know. And certainly like the show that we were at where we saw you in the overall in St. Louis, like there was plenty of girls that should have been in fit model that were in bikini.
oh,
Um
absolutely.
and
I was
so
noticing that as well.
yeah, like, and for whatever reason, I mean, maybe they had already invested in the suit and they had already registered for bikini. You can't cross over. But I think that's like pretty true for like even how wellness started when people were first coming out and there was just a lot of girls that didn't understand you still had to be in like really good shape. And I think they took it to mean like wellness was like, healthy and soft and,
mhm.
bigger.
Yeah.
And that's not what we've seen. So now we have a clear picture. And I think that's really how Fit Model will go, which is so neat because like you're one of the first. And you're gunning for your pro card now. So this has to be like so exciting too. Like, did you have any idea it would take off like this?
Absolutely not. I actually at my very first competition, I got dead last.
Oh.
So for Fit Model. So if I would have given up after San Diego, we wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
And so that's why I'm like, I didn't see it coming at all. I
Yeah.
had absolutely no expectations, especially after San Diego. I was like, you
Yeah.
know, I just came in. Well, there was only two girls, and I got second, so I say dead last. But,
Mm.
you know, I'm a very competitive person, and if I set out to do something, I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna do it with all the intention that I can behind it. Um, and so I didn't give up, and so I went to Vegas, and then I went to St. Louis, and then we went to South Carolina, and I said we're gonna go to every coast in the Central and try to get it. And if we're still winning, I'm going to national. So
Yeah.
here we are.
That's
That's awesome.
awesome. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
so what does that look like for nationals for Fit Model? Like, do they have as many height categories and is it like two pro cards in the overall or how are they setting it up this year?
I believe, and I could be wrong, but there was four classes to register, A, B, C, and D, and I'm class C. And then there's, I think they're awarding four Fit Model Pro cards. So I
Okay.
think it's one per
Oh,
height class, I'm
Okay.
assuming.
Yeah,
So
that's awesome. Yeah. And then
I
you'll
just
shut
believe
it
you'll
down
get
for a
it.
year until
Yeah.
January when they start all the pro shows. I wish they would
Mhm.
kind of start them sooner because I
sooner,
think like
yeah.
if the girls that are like getting those pro cards earlier, and I know there's a lot of like bikini pros that are like
Oh, yeah.
returning with plans to compete in pro fit models. So I really can't wait. I'm just so
There's a
excited.
lot of rumors circulating, and I won't say it, but I know of a very, very prestigious pro that might be coming down. So, woo.
But like you said, I mean, it's still like, there's it's contest prep, like regardless
Hmm.
of how what division that you're in. I mean, you're still working hard. I just saw a video of you and you're like,
Absolutely.
doing these crazy heavy squats and all of that. So have you noticed there's a difference really, or maybe you could share like what those differences might look like from the way you were preparing for bikini and figure and compared to now?
Yeah. So I don't train upper body anymore. I only get like a pump up for upper body every other week. And it's literally just a pump up. Like I cannot push heavy weights in the upper body because I do have pretty prominent delts already.
Yeah.
And so my feedback before in bikini was always like more upper glute and more delts. Well, when I go on fit model stage, I am being met with girls that don't have the density and the delts that I do,
Hmm.
because I trained for bikini for so long. You
Hmm.
know, we are trying to get that X frame, and here we are in fit model, and I just, yeah, we are not training upper body anymore, besides the pump up every 2 weeks, and then I'm isolating my lower body between upper glutes, tie-ins, hammies, quads, and so I'm literally like training like a wellness competitor, I say. But I'm training, I believe, 5 and 6 days a week, depending. Just a lot of glute isolation and leg isolation, but I really miss my upper body days. I'm not gonna lie.
That would be hard. That'd be hard to give up like a good shoulder day.
Oh, those are so good, and especially when you're so lean and you're like, yeah, I'm killing it.
Yeah. I know.
But
It's
that's
just,
so.
I'm
Oh, go
sorry, go
ahead,
ahead.
Jillian.
No, you're fine.
I was gonna say that's just so important for our listeners because like the kind of controversy surrounding this division is like, oh, you don't have to train that much. It's like, no, like you still have to train. It's just very specified per the body type. So
Yes.
like if it was the opposite, someone might be training more delts and they would be lower, just depending on what like their
What your
structure
physique
is.
looks like,
Hmm.
right? What you're what you're bringing to the stage,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, it's not the whole you just walked off the beach, even though that's what it says. It's like you just got to look like a muscular. You walked off the beach.
Yeah, the way I describe fit model to me is bikini but smaller, and
Hmm.
then also marketability. You're not getting so lean to where you look, in bikini, like those last couple of weeks in prep, we're lean, like we are
Hmm.
lean, and it's
Mhm.
almost scary to the person that doesn't know what you're about to go do.
Yeah.
But with fit model, I feel like you have to maintain this level of conditioning that's not that lean, but also maintain like marketability of yourself. You're a fit model. You're a
Hmm.
model at this
Yeah.
point. So when I see when I think of fit model, I think, well, who am I going to see on the cover of sports magazine?
Mhm.
That's the girl I want. That girl
Yeah.
that actually looks like she works out. The girl that looks like she could probably kick your butt in the gym.
Yeah. Right.
So yeah, that's how I like to describe fit model. But
That's a good
I
way to
don't know.
describe it.
Yeah. I'm curious to know then, as like somebody who has competed in bikini and figure, like, did it affect you the first time you walked on stage in Fit Model because I'm thinking about like this one time I did like a fashion show sort of thing, and I wasn't stage lean. I was like probably like 6 weeks out, and I was just like, oh, I don't feel like stage ready. Like, you're ready for fit model, but you're used to going on stage and like looking a certain way. Like, did that affect you at all in like that peak week or like on
Oh,
show day, like feeling, yeah, I'm like, I bet
it's
a lot of people
such a
feel that way.
mind thing. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, yes. I can remember being backstage for my first show and just like eyeballing everybody. We do it and we don't even realize we're doing it, but we're just like
Yeah.
sitting back like, dang, she looks really good. Crap, I'm probably gonna lose. Look at her glutes. And like you're just like sizing everybody up. And
Mhm.
then I was sitting backstage my first show and I was like looking down and I was like, dang, this is so weird. Like, I feel like I should just be walking the runway and like modeling a swimsuit, not going on for a bodybuilding show at this very time. Like,
Yeah.
but you know, after getting some stage experience, that feeling has kind of
Yeah.
calmed down, I guess muted itself a little bit, but I
Yeah.
don't know. It still plays with my mind. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I think that's really common. Like,
Mhm.
and again, this division is so new, so like people probably aren't talking about all these things. But I think if you are making a change, or like let's say you took like 2, 3 years off, and then you're coming back and you're deciding to, take the route of fit model, like, your expectations. And I'm just even thinking about like coaching a former
Mhm.
bikini athlete for a fit model and being like, you are lean enough, you are stage ready. Trust me, I promise you are. But just kind of getting used to it. And so, yeah, and we still
Yeah,
have so
you
much to
almost have to
learn.
look at yourself through a different lens.
Yeah.
You really do. And as a coach myself, I've been coaching a bikini girl who I think is also fit model. And me telling her that I think you're a fit model, she was just kind of like, oh, I want to be bikini so bad. And I'm like, but you could literally go on stage tomorrow the way you
Mhm.
Yeah.
look right now.
Yeah.
I have a client just like that, actually, just like that. And it is hard for her. I'm like, and she could go on stage this weekend and do amazing. And
Exactly.
she's done 2 or 3 bikini competitions last year. And she did fine. Like she did well, but like she's ready to do fit model and she's like beating herself up because she's not like stage lean. And I'm like, no, you're like we're just coasting at this point till like your show day because you're fine. Like you're
Like you
fine.
look great.
Yeah, and she like
Yeah.
can't, it's
Prep
hard for
goggles,
her.
man. Prep goggles.
She's
They
like,
Yeah.
I
they go
just have like,
on.
she's like, I have 5 more pounds. I'm like, no, if you do that, they might tell you you're too much.
Yeah.
So, but like, yeah, it's interesting.
I got a lot of controversy being super lean is what people
Mhm.
were saying going into my shows because I do look a little different than most girls. I've had kids, I've had experience in the gym and stuff, but I would rather come in too lean and be able to carb up and eat a lot of fat before I go on stage
Yeah.
than and
Mhm.
look full and dense than come in softer and having to still try to deplete down into the
Yeah.
show. But
Yeah.
with Fit Model, it's so vastly different. Like they want a full bubbly look.
Mhm.
Hmm.
So like a lot of girls that are bikini could actually be Fit Model. And it's just like hard to like tell them, hey, I think you might be Fit Model.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I don't know.
Probably the
Yeah.
next couple years we'll see this like huge transformation like next year or the year after and this like ramp up and like you said getting in early getting to know the posing getting to know the judges getting to know the criteria it's so smart and you did what was right for your body and then probably next year a lot of these girls will do that and it will
Oh,
be a
I think
ginormous
it's going
category.
to I think it's going to blow up.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
really do.
Yeah. I do too.
There's going to
Um,
be so many more Fit Model than bikini. I like imagining it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen the numbers in bikini start to decline. And so, yeah, I think that which just opens the doors for so many more people. And it is like, it's a really appealing look. And, I mean, I love it. I'm obsessed with it. Like we sat
Hmm.
there and watched like in St. Louis, just like, trying to take it all in and see the different styles and the different looks and whatnot. So just the more competitors we get, I think it's going to be really, really exciting. So,
Hmm.
Yeah, and I think a lot of things with Fit Model too is it's not just your physique, it's your actual look. I my very first stage, they told me I needed to change my hair color, and darken my eyebrows, because you are a model, like you're a
yeah,
fit model. It's about the whole look, and they said the lights made me look bald and like I had no eyebrows. So, like
it's very
What
it was
specific.
the little things that matter.
Yeah,
Yeah,
So.
that's
that's
so
very
interesting.
interesting.
Yeah.
Well, and I think your stage presence speaks a lot too. Because so this is our first time meeting, and I know you and Jillian have been, talking back and forth for a while now. But when I saw you in April, I was like, your posing was just so
Mhm.
beautiful. Your confidence and
Oh,
everything was
thank
just
you.
so great. I was like, who is that? And of course, Jillian was like, oh, that's Shayla.
My friend.
I'm like,
No,
oh,
thank you so
she's
much.
beautiful. Hmm.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you.
do
I'm
think that
actually
performance.
since doing all of this, I am a posing coach now for Fit Model. So,
Yeah.
yeah, if you guys are looking for posing for Fit Model alone, I'm your girl.
Oh yeah, we'll
Yeah.
absolutely list that in the show notes for
Yeah,
this.
definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, sort of segueing back to something we touched on earlier about like this being like right for your body. One of the things that you mentioned is having some issues with your thyroid and your health in a prior prep. So I wanted to see
Yeah,
if we could kind of segue and talk about that experience and what that was like for you.
absolutely. So I was in bikini prep. This was well before Fit Model was introduced. This was the year prior. Um, very last year, literally. So I was in bikini prep. I think I was like 8 to 10 weeks out, somewhere in there. And I had an episode. I was at the house with my mother-in-law, and thank God she was there. I ended up passing out, and ambulance was called, and I was in AFib, and it was just a whole thing. I get to the ER, and they read my labs, and it turns out I was having a thyroid storm, which is extremely rare and deadly if it happens. So I spent some time in the ICU and trying to get my thyroid re-regulated. And it was, I hate to say this, but it was induced from an extreme protocol. I was taking T3. And that literally set my thyroid into this synthetic thyroid
Mm.
storm. Essentially, it shut down my natural thyroid production completely.
Wow.
And in the thyroid storm, you lose all control of your nervous system. Your heart rate goes skyrocket. It felt like I was having an anxiety attack. I couldn't control anything. Everything was just like in slow motion almost. And I was getting dizzy. I don't even know how to describe it other than maybe if you were extremely high, like everything was just like woo, woo.
Oh,
And I couldn't make sense of anything or anyone for about 3 days.
oh
Um,
wow.
I
Wow.
was just kind of in and out of it, and then we finally it corrected, thank God. But obviously, we will not be doing that anymore.
Yeah. That's so
But
scary.
it was extremely scary. And that was kind of my wake up call. Like, don't do everything a coach tells you to do unless you are 100% committed and do your research and understand what it could happen. You never think it's going to be you until it's you.
Yeah.
And honestly, I feel like my protocols were for like a 35 to 42-year-old male bodybuilder that weighs
Ugh.
like 250 pounds, and it was just it was a terrible experience, and I'm just so thankful that I learned from it and I'm able to learn from it and
Yeah.
keep going, and finding a good coach that was able to heal my thyroid, heal my hormones again. And then Fit Model came out, so it was like perfect. This is my way to take care of myself, not go into a crazy protocol that's going to essentially kill me almost. But this was my way of being like, wow, like I can actually still get on the stage and be who I want to be and not ruin my hormones or my
Yeah.
thyroid anymore. So that's why I was so grateful when I finally accepted that I was Fit Model. I was like, okay, this is probably, you're right, you're right. This is where I need to be. This is where I need to go, especially after what just happened. And I'm not on any kind of crazy protocol like that. My cardio is like 10 minutes a day right now, and my supplements are nowhere near that. So,
Yeah.
I'm taking this as healing myself, healing my mental health from that because that was extremely traumatic, and just growing from it.
Yeah. Wow. Well, I really appreciate you sharing that. I know that's not easy
Mhm.
to like talk about. And certainly, there's a lot of like, I don't want to say shame, but just sort of like, I can't believe I made that decision. But like, I've been
Yeah.
there. Like, I know how it
Yeah.
is when you're like, okay, well, this is probably the next step. And I've done these things and, this is as far as I've gotten. And so, like, I can see how that sort of happens. And I'm so glad that you're okay and that
Yeah,
you're like
absolutely.
able to do what you love too, because I'm sure there are people listening that maybe they had an experience like that. It was really scary, and then they're afraid to get back into the sport at all. And so it's
Oh
it's
yeah.
a great story that here you are and you're having success and doing what you love. You found what works for you, which
Oh,
is great.
absolutely.
Yeah. I
And I'm
love that you
so,
oh,
go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say I love that you didn't shy away from bodybuilding after that because that's what's incredible is that you spent your time in the ICU, you healed, and you still came back to research coaches to find a coach that's gonna work. Like how we all know how it goes, like finding a coach, getting back into the gym, getting back into that headspace, that you did that. That's really
Yeah.
commendable of like your personality to know like this is something I want to do, this is what I'm gonna commit to, but I'm gonna do it differently.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not going to sit there and take everything that's given to me and just, okay, yes, sir, I'm going to do that because I want to go to nationals and I want to get a pro
Yeah.
card, I'll do that. Thank you. But no, that's how I was. And you live and you learn,
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
and I'm so
yeah.
grateful that I learned.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely hear stories. I mean, I can't believe some of the protocols of these like first time competitors that are so young, haven't had a family yet. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, like this is
Yeah.
just crazy. But I think that there's just not a lot of people maybe talking about it. It's kind of taboo. And, you just see success. You don't realize that anything bad could happen until it kind of does. So,
That's all
um,
you see at the end of the tunnel
I
is
know.
the success that you want to have and the desire to have it so badly that you're almost willing to do anything to get it. And then when you do the things that think you're supposed to do, and then it ends up hurting you, it's like, wow, like I really should have taken it back and not been so gung ho, done
Yeah.
some
yeah.
research, and we wouldn't be here where we are. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm just so grateful that I no longer have to stretch my protocols to the extreme.
Hmm.
Hmm. I
Yeah.
know there's a lot of young girls that I'm like just through the years of bodybuilding and going to gyms and all that stuff. I feel like I'm the broken record that's like get your hormones checked because I mean I share my IVF story. IVF has nothing to do with bodybuilding, but it has to do about knowing your body. Like I had
Exactly.
if you're so young, you haven't had a family yet and you have these ridiculous protocols because you want to be the best and win the shows and all that stuff. It's like you need to get like your labs, not just your labs, but get your AMH checks, get your other stuff checked, get like all these things checked while you're in your 20s because you don't want to blink and be in your like early late 30s and like trying to do something and all of a sudden you can't.
You
And
can't.
it's like and like it could have been easier. Like you just want to know. You want to be informed of yourself. So I always feel like a broken record with like the younger girls at the gym. I'm like, get it checked, get everything checked.
Hmm.
You can never be too safe anymore, like
Mhm.
honestly, because even after going through that traumatic situation, I'm a stickler now. I'm like, okay, blood work before prep, blood work middle prep, blood work at the end of prep,
Right.
blood work in the off season. Like, when are we doing blood work? Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, this is like such a huge piece of who you are, but you're also a mom and
Yes.
you're a business owner. And then another interesting fact is that you're a military spouse too. So I'm sure that that is a very hectic schedule. And I'm sure there are people listening that are very curious how you do it all. So we would love to know how it is that you tick all the boxes and do all the things in your daily life.
I feel like if I didn't own my business and I couldn't work from home, it would not be happening. I will tell you that because being a coach has opened the doors to me being able to compete so freely. But being a military spouse adds the whole new aspect to it because I have been in prep since December and my spouse has been deployed since October. So he's been overseas since October. He just got back the week of St. Louis. Or the night before St. Louis, he got back from deployment and he's already gone again, if that tells you
Oh,
anything.
wow.
So he's back in South Carolina at our base, out processing. He is getting out of the military, thankfully, but he is going to go reserves. So we're still going to live the life. But I don't know. My girls handle this with such grace that I admire their resilience because we've moved across the country since October, but solo without dad. And I've gone through prep this whole time without him and with the girls. And they've switched schools now 3 times in a year. But this is military life. This is what they're used to. And yes, they do say, oh, I miss, South Carolina, or I miss this and that. But they have handled everything with such grace and resiliency that I admired them. And then they got to come to South Carolina and watch me compete for the first time. And, they see it here. They see me working out and they come to the gym and they get so excited and they want to work out with mom and do all the things. But then seeing me on stage, I uploaded a video on TikTok recently and you can hear them in the background going, go, mommy, go, mom. That's my mom. And I'm like, yes, like this is why I do this because it proves to them that mom is capable of doing hard things, even alone, or even just to show them that they can do it too. Um, I feel like if I didn't live this lifestyle and do it with them involved, life would be so vastly different because if I didn't involve them in my meal prep, because they're in here cooking when I'm cooking, what are you making? Oh, I want some chicken and broccoli. And like my kids literally, and this sounds so cliche, but especially Berkeley, my 6-year-old, she's like, I want chicken and broccoli for dinner. I want rice and tilapia. But like I'm always like, what do you guys want to eat? And it's never pizza or pizza rolls. Like they want my prep food. I want what you had last night. And like Harper, she goes, I want what you had last night. And it was rice cakes and peanut butter. And I'm just like, you guys are such prep kids.
I
But no,
love
like
it.
I don't know exactly how I roll with it, but we just do it. We show up, and I check the boxes that I need to check, and I live by Google Calendars. Like if I didn't have my Google
Yes.
Calendar, we would probably just forget everything because let's be real.
Oh, I
Yeah,
love
we live
that.
on Google Calendar in this house too. Like if my husband dares bring something up, I'm like, is it in the calendar? Because then it doesn't exist if it's not in the calendar. Like, mm-mm, mm-mm.
I'm like looking at my calendar every day. Okay, this. Okay, we're good.
Yeah, totally. No, I love that. I think that I mean, I have a busy family and I just always say like, what's my diet secret? Like, I don't have time to like think about
Yeah.
food or treats or snacks. Like, I'm just on the go until I like pass out at night. And I think it's like the key to being sick. And then I think too, like, it's the thing for me. Like, every other part of my life, like, and I'm a coach like you as well. So I'm, doing client check-ins and helping people on their journey, and then I'm involved with the cheer gym and I'm a mom and da 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 da, right? And
Yes,
like this is like that thing, like that's my thing and my goal, which is
exactly.
like important. And I don't think everybody maybe wants that for themselves, but if you do and it's something that's really important to you, like it's so worth it. And you can see it in how your kids are growing up too.
Mhm.
Oh, I 100% agree. If I wasn't doing something for me in the midst of all of the chaos, I feel like they would have a very different mom at home.
Yeah.
I obviously wouldn't be as happy. I really don't think if I didn't have something for myself to
Mhm.
live for, to do, or to keep me occupied. Everybody needs a hobby. Everybody needs something to put their energy into, especially when they don't have a spouse at home and they're, off doing what they need to do for us. It's just you have to do something for you to be happy and to show up for your family because if you're not doing something for you, your family is not going to be happy at the end of the day because
Mhm.
they feed off of your energy. They feed off of what you're bringing home and to the plate.
Yeah, we always tell our clients like it's a form of self-care, and the more you care for yourself, you can give to others. If you don't give to yourself, you can't give to others. So we always
Absolutely.
preach. Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And those goals, like as they're growing up too, like they see that you've worked hard for something, it was tough, it was challenging, and then at the end there's, this prize and this celebration, like it pays off. I think they see that like, it's not easy, but that it's worth it. So I think that it's a great thing. I think it's misunderstood, like for people who don't understand why we wear
Hmm.
bikinis and heels and go on stage and they just think it's sexy
It's
and
so funny you say that because my little ones are 5 and 6,
Mhm.
and I came home with my first trophy, this one, and my littlest one, she goes, "That's really small. I think you should go win a bigger one." And so Midwest happened, and I came home with
Yeah.
this one, and she was like, "Oh, I like that one. It's big, but why is she naked?" I was like, "She's got a swimsuit on. What are you talking about?" It was so funny.
That's so funny.
I always
No.
say I can't wait for like our kids to be in their 20s and 30s and be like, and really think about how we ate and how we trained and what we did and all the stuff they saw. And I'm like, I can't wait for them to be swapping stories when they're like 25 with their friends. Like, my mom made protein pancakes. Like, just like we lived off rice cakes. Like, you have the whole, all the rice cakes. Like, and you think of like general population just doesn't do
They
that.
don't get
So
it.
yeah, I'm like, I can't wait for my kid to go off to college to be like just swap some stories and be like, my mom was insane. Like, go her.
You want some chicken? My mom's got lots.
Yeah.
I love it. So, one other thing that people might be surprised to know about you, which I just learned about you also, is that in addition to being a mama, you are a surrogate mom as well. So, we talked a little bit about this before we hit record on this episode, but I think it's such a fascinating piece of your journey. And it's so interesting that, you returned to the stage after that journey as well. So, would
Yes.
you like to share sort of what that entailed,
Yeah.
what that journey was?
Yeah. So I didn't ask to go and be a surrogate. It just happened. I like I was explaining to you guys before, my kids were going to a babysitter about 6 years ago, and we just had a nonchalant conversation. It was just like my family had gone through IVF, and like I think that's what brought it up. And I was like, yeah, I don't feel like I could ever say no if somebody asked me to be a surrogate. I just it just would pull on my heartstrings a little bit too much, and I just couldn't say no. There's no way. And 6 years go by, and she calls me up one day, and I'm like, she's calling me. That's so weird. And so I answered it. She was like, "Hey, long time no talk, but I remember this conversation that we had, and one of my cousins is looking for a surrogate, and I don't know if you'd be interested still, but go look at her Facebook post and get to know her." And I was like, huh. And I thought about it for a couple of days, and I was thinking, sitting in my thoughts, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go look. And I messaged her, and we ended up connecting, and it just flowed. She's active duty Air Force. Her husband is active duty Army, I believe. And he was special forces, and she was doing something else, but he was gone a lot. And like, we just had such a good connection, and it almost seemed like we were like sisters or spitting images of each other. Our demeanor, the way we talk, like it was just like it went. And so I was like, okay, yes, let's do this. And so we ended up doing independent surrogacy. A lot of girls go through an agency and do all like the contracts and all of that. But we just did an independent journey, and hired our own attorneys and did the thing. Um, so a lot of people don't realize surrogates have to do IVF to
Mhm.
get pregnant. And there's different types of surrogacy. You could be a gestational carrier, or you could be a traditional surrogate. Traditional surrogates, it is their genetic child. Um, a gestational one, which is what I was, it is their genetics. It's her egg, his, you know, and they make the embryo, and then you're the oven, and you just grow the baby for them. So there's a lot of things that go into that. But yeah, it's not easy. It was definitely hard. Um, I had just got done with a prep. We did one transfer with their boy embryo, and you already know what they are before you transfer them because they
Mhm.
get genetic testing done. So they did a boy embryo first, and it failed, unfortunately. And so we had to wait for my body to have a cycle and then go into the next one. And each cycle takes, a couple of months. So you're doing all of the IVF treatment, the progesterone, the injections. Those injections alone will send you.
Mhm.
Those are daily in the booty, and that was hard, especially when my husband was gone, having to do those on myself, and then all the belly shots. It added up to, I want to say, with both cycles, I think it was like 600 and something shots altogether. Like
Mhm.
it's a lot,
It's an
and
insane amount.
it's a lot. And I almost gave up after the first try didn't work because I was like, wow, like I just went through all of this and it didn't work.
Mhm.
And then we kept going per contract. We were supposed to do three, and if they didn't work, they didn't work. And then we got pregnant, and I say we, but we got pregnant, and she is now 3 years old and thriving, and they live in well, they just moved from Florida because they're military. They move all the time too. But I still hear from them, and it was just such a humbling experience. Um, I never thought that doing that for somebody else would give me such purpose. When I originally did it, sure, the money was nice. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I was like, yeah, like that would be great if we could save it, pay off some debt, do the things with all that. Like that was kind of the purpose at first, just trying to make sure that we were going to be taken care of at the end of the day, financially. And then after you get in such connection and involved in it, it starts to pull at you, and then next thing you know, you're reading stories to a baby that's not yours in your belly, and then your kids are like talking to the baby, and now it's like they know Charlie, that's Thorough baby. That's her nickname, Thorough baby.
Mhm.
And they know that she isn't mommy's baby, that she's a friend's baby, and that mommy had her for them. And it was so cool to involve the family in on that too. So yeah, it's just such an interesting thing that not a lot of people know about, honestly. And then I think I had her, and then I went straight into a prep like 5 months, 4 months later.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think because I didn't have a baby to take home, and going through all the postpartum feelings and emotions, not having that connection, I needed something to move on to. I
Mhm.
needed something to get my mind off of that and close the chapter a little bit in my head and move on to something. And that's what prep was to me. Like I needed to focus, and I needed to get my mentality kind of out of, okay, motherhood is it, that part of me needs to kind of close up, and I need to move into something else. And I guess it kind of like it worked, but postpartum depression as a surrogate is real. It's so real because you do not have a baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're almost experience sorry, my dryer.
That's
You're
right.
almost experiencing a loss, but not really.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So like I don't know how to describe it other than mentally I prepared myself before getting pregnant. Like this isn't your baby. You're just the house, you're just the oven for 9 months, but you have to kind of like look at it at the end of the day as you gave a gift. You gave life to somebody else that so truly desired it. And then now just from the outside looking into their story, it is so gratifying. It just melts me every time I get sent a picture. I'm like, yes, like this is why I'm so glad, like she's here, she exists because of what we did.
Yeah.
So
I'm just trying not to lose my ever
I
loving
know.
like
I'm like
shit. Like,
way in my
well,
prep feels right now.
it's
I'm like
like
try
as
not to
somebody
cry.
because TV, like, okay, because TV makes it look surrogacy look so easy. And every like I share my IVF journey and I just started it, but to know the intensity of surrogacy and what you did for those people, and like to know what egg donors is, to know all the shots you had to do for you to do that for somebody else is like that's unbelievable. Like that's
It's amazing.
absolutely incredible. And to do it like out of contract because I've had to look at egg donors and all that stuff. So I get like the that side of it. And for you just to like talk to somebody and bond with somebody and like just I know the shots, I know the drugs, I know all the scans and all the ultrasounds. And
yeah,
for you to like just do that, you gave them something that's like which is incredible. Like you're
it's
an
life
incredible
changing.
person.
Oh,
Yeah,
thank
it's
you.
amazing.
You guys are gonna make me cry. um, no,
Yeah.
I don't know, like, and I don't think I was necessarily at the beginning of it. I wasn't prepared. for what was about to happen. And I'm almost honestly glad I wasn't, because if I had have known, oh, this is going to take 2 cycles and this is going to take multiple trips to Florida to the clinic and all this time, like I don't know if I could have, just because I didn't know. But I'm so grateful that I didn't know the extent of what I was getting into, because it it was like a shock and awe. Like, like
Yeah.
Yeah.
you get so intertwined in something, and then it just feels, I don't know, like looking back on it now, I just sit here and I'm like, like it's just like a sigh of relief. Like, I'm
Yeah.
so glad that I went through this and I did this. But not only that I did it, that this family chose me. They chose me to house their child, like they chose
Hmm.
me. They didn't have to. They had all kinds of applicants. And it's just I'm just so grateful, for the experience and all of the things. And then everything that it taught me post IVF, post
Hmm.
surrogacy, and relating it to bodybuilding. Now I can explain to my clients that have gone through fertility issues or gone through IVF
Yeah.
how important it is to get your blood work done and get your
Yeah.
hormones checked, especially after IVF, because you're putting, synthetic hormones into your body to almost trick yourself into being pregnant. Or you're
Mm.
tricking your body into thinking it's pregnant before it is. So it's a lot. It's a lot to process. And even I truly feel like 3 years later, I'm still processing what happened,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, the delivery of her was very rough. It was traumatizing. I have had very successful deliveries with my 3 kids, so very healthy, deliveries. But with her, for some reason, I developed preeclampsia, and then I had a hemorrhage at birth, and that was scary. I had to be packed. I had to have an emergency DNC. Um, I just remember passing out and then putting the coagulation drugs in my thighs, and I didn't get to hold the baby at all. They whisked them out of the room because all the things were happening.
Mhm.
I just remember this nurse getting on top of me and the doctor, uh, like fist deep all the way in. She's pressing down on my stomach, and I just fainted right there. I was just like, I'm done. Uh, and then I wake up to me puking. I was violently throwing up, and they said that was from all of the drugs they had to give me to stop the bleeding and all the things. And then I finally get to hold Charlie, and it was, I don't know, like I was so in the moment from what was going on and all of the trauma that was happening, that in that very moment, I just lost it. Like, I was bawling my eyes out, holding her, seeing her for the first time, and then seeing her mom, how beautiful this situation was. And the dad, he was crying. And like, it was just so emotional. And it was just, at the end of the day, I'm like, wow, like, I'm so glad I still did this, and I can live to see another day and see her grow up. And it was just such an amazing experience. I would never, ever trade it for anything. And I would do it again. I don't know why, but I would.
Ugh,
Wow. That is
It's
just like
crazy. Everybody's
it's a
like, you're
miracle.
crazy for saying that.
it's just not. I feel like I get it. Like I get it. Like I feel like I get it because I've tried to have a kid for so long. And if you have a gift to give that to somebody, and then like I just imagine if someone did that for me, like I can feel that emotional moment. Like I get it. Like I get that
Yeah.
room. I get everything you're describing, because like if I had a person in my life to like, if I had to go through surrogacy and do that, like to give that gift, like that bond is an eternal bond that
It really is. And it's a
is.
bond that can't even describe to somebody. It's
Mm-mm.
not even like a sisterly bond. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's something you're never gonna forget. Just seeing her face light up the second she got to catch the baby,
Hmm.
that was all she wrote. I was like, yes, this is why I'm meant to live. Like, this was my purpose. This is one of my purposes of life,
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, wow. That is like the most incredible story. I can just, it's a
And
miracle
the
and it's,
timing. It's like
yeah.
you're in your prep feels, and I just started my suppressant
Yeah.
drugs. Like I just started. So
The
I have,
Yeah.
hormones, man.
I know,
Yeah.
I
The
just started
hormones.
them. And so I'm just like, you did this for somebody. Like,
Yeah. And I mean, like, not to sound cliche, but like, you can do the hard things, right? Like, I always think about
mhm.
that in prep when I'm like, oh my God, I'm so hungry and I don't want to go to, and you just are like
Yeah.
really struggling. And then you remember something you've done that's way harder or way worse. And,
Oh, yes.
and you can just go, okay, I can do this. Like,
Yeah.
I've done the hard things. And, certainly that experience and every piece of that journey, was definitely, challenging in many ways, but so
Oh, yeah.
rewarding too. And so is prep, of course, because
I know, I never thought about it like that. Like, you've done harder things in life. And, like, yeah, sure, prep is hard, but, like, looking back
Yeah.
on everything else, like, it is nothing compared
Yeah.
to anything like that.
I think about that all the time. I'm like, what am I complaining for? Like, I get to go to the gym. I get to,
Yeah.
eat protein and like, okay, I'm hungry, but I'm going to get to eat at the end side of this, prep or whatever. And there's been other things I've endured that are way more challenging. It gets me through on days when I'm like, what am I doing this for?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. I've had so many thoughts like that, especially with Colt, my husband, being deployed. Like, I'm just like, another day. Like,
Mhm.
I really don't want to get up.
Yeah.
I don't want to get out of this bed. But
Yeah.
no, it looking back on the whole journey in itself, it's kind of like a whirlwind. You go from bikini prep, thyroid storm, surrogate, bikini prep to fit model.
Yes.
It's like, what is
Yeah.
going on?
And next, pro card. And
Yes.
then Olympia. Just like keep
Yeah.
Oh,
stacking up all the
yes,
goals.
yes.
Oh, I
I
love it.
got a message on Facebook from a trainer that's local to Missouri, and he was like, a voice message, and he was like, "Hey, I like this. I don't mean this in any sort of like weird way." He was like, "But don't be surprised when you're like standing top 5 at the first O at the Fit Model Division." And I was like, "Wow, you guys have some high standards for me right now. That's a lot of pressure."
Why not, girl? I mean, like just
Yeah.
aim high because, this year has been amazing, like watching your journey and like
Mhm.
seeing you take home all these titles. And I know that you're going to claim that victory in, is it
Oh
4
God.
weeks, 3 weeks?
It's like three and a
3.
half,
Yeah.
23 days, but who's
There you
counting?
go.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
Oh,
Well,
I'm very excited. A lot of nerves going into Junior USA's, but I'm super hopeful. I do have zero expectations. I just want to show up, bring my best self, and make sure that, I stay um, humble and kind, and I just want to have such a great experience and make the experience great for others. I know a lot of people are looking at my journey and me showing up, and then I just want them to have such a great experience and to know that I'm a kind person and to please talk to me and get to know me on a personal level, because I I adore that connection, and especially with competing, that's one thing that I really really look forward to, is getting to know all the girls, especially
Mhm.
backstage. We're sitting back there, we have nothing to do, and we just talk, and everybody's journeys are so vastly different, and I just
Yeah.
love getting to know every single person and their soul, and making sure that their transition from bikini to fit model, or if they're a brand new fit model athlete, is smooth, and it's wonderful, and just having the best experience that they can possibly have, because I know that I am. I just want everybody else to.
yeah.
And I
Well,
just enjoy really truly growing the division too.
yeah. I will say after this podcast airs, everybody should talk to you
Everybody's
because you
gonna
are the
know.
nicest person ever. Like, oh my
Yes.
gosh.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. I think, you've got such an incredible story and,
Yeah.
you are just an incredible human. And I'm so honored that we had the chance to talk to you today and give you, this place to share your incredible story. So, yeah, I hate to wrap up. Wish we could keep talking, but we've
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
got mama things to do. So share with our audience how they can find you and about your coaching and posing coaching
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm Shayla Hunt on Facebook, and then on Instagram, it's Coach Shayla Hunt. And I do have TikTok. I'm just not very active on there. So if I don't see your message on there, it's probably not because I don't see it. I just don't get on it a whole lot. And I should. I really should get into it. But Instagram is where I'm at usually. I am a prep and lifestyle coach. I prep for bikini and fit model clients. I do also dabble in the boys. Um,
I
so
saw that.
we just
Yeah.
had a client at St. Louis do super well in classic physique. But I thrive with my lifestyle clients, and obviously my fit model gals. I thoroughly enjoy taking somebody from feeling so down and out about themselves and their body to seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. And you can literally see it in their check-in photos. Their very first photo, it's like, blah. And then, at the end of their 4 to 6 months or whatever, however long they have with me, their face is so different. They have a light about them. And that's what I truly enjoy with my coaching is seeing the inner transformation along with the outer transformation. So if you're interested in any of those coaching, I'm your girl. But I also do fit model posing. And so you can reach out to me on Instagram there as well. So
Awesome.
Awesome. Oh, Shayla, this has been amazing. You are just truly incredible. And thank you so much for
thank
coming on
you.
today. And we're going to be like screaming from St.
Yes.
Louis and Kansas City when you hit that stage, Junior USA's. And
Oh
I can't wait to
gosh.
see you take home that win.
Thank you so much. And I adore all of your support. It's been amazing. And I'm so grateful to be here and on your podcast and just sharing about, the new division and my journey.
Yeah, thank you again for your time. And for everybody listening who has enjoyed this episode, please remember to like, subscribe, and share whatever platform you're on, and share to anybody who is possibly interested in the fit model division or lifestyle coaching. We'll have all of Shayla's information in all of the show notes. So thank you again for your time, Shayla.
Yes.
Thank you
Thank
guys.
you
Thank you,
guys.
Bye.
everybody.